box of them. They're sitting in the post office.
Nice.
I don't think they're from Loch Ness, though.
Oh, I have to check the return
No, I
address.
think they're from Medina. Which
Hey, everybody.
has me a little worried. Yeah, but what I'm looking for, I'm sure doesn't grow in Medina. So,
Oh.
yeah, no.
Doesn't have the same
Properties.
properties, right?
But we'll see.
Somebody's maybe come in. Is that okay if I open the door?
Yeah, as long as we
As long as he's not carrying an AK-47, let him in.
come doing the book clubs.
Yeah, you don't know anymore.
Oh, where's my water? I left it way over there. Okay.
So did you send boy, the guy from Edmund Fitzgerald, did you send him home?
Yeah, he went to the light.
Mhm, good.
They all went. And everybody is so good with these computers that everybody found the people. I mean,
What do you mean? They found the people?
there are a couple people that were there last week.
Hi,
It was you, I bet you. You're the one that found the
No.
And just
It wasn't you. Okay.
Okay, so call this number.
Correct.
We'll get started in a little bit, guys.
Okay.
Hello, everybody.
I have clear houses before, so but this one's different.
Okay.
I've done simple ones.
Yeah. Okie doke. So what I started to say is that people were sending Melissa and me the headstones of the little girl, of the little boy, of the guy from the Fitzgerald, everything.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
And they were all there?
Yeah, they everybody told the truth.
Mhm.
So yeah, they were there. So we did not put it on Facebook or any of their last names because you don't know
You
if
don't wanna
they've
mess
got
with someone's
relatives
family,
still.
yeah.
And the mother or the relatives of the kid from the Fitzgerald, I think for sure they still live in the area.
Mhm.
So I would not want to do that to them.
Well, since it was the anniversary, there was something that just came up on my online news feed, and it listed all of them. Was it the
Really?
29 of them or
Yeah.
something?
29 died,
Is it in
yeah.
His name was right there in the middle of it. Yeah,
So-
listed.
It is.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's like this house I did, the 16-year-old kid, the very first day he had his driver's license, he got hit by a semi and got killed.
Mm.
He was the youngest of 9 kids.
Wow.
Mm.
Very religious, very Catholic family. They buried him. Everything was fine. 20 years later, I go do a house where there's a couple teenage girls.
I know where this is going.
So you know where the boy ended up at, not in the light, but he with these pretty blonde little girls, and he was having a good time,
Mhm.
which is fine. Got rid of them, not a problem. Everything was hunky dory. The lady was a cop, the mother of the girls.
Mhm.
I would have never dreamt of it in a million years that I would have to say something to a police officer. But I wasn't out of that house in 2 hours. She went to the cemetery, took a picture of his headstone, and went right to his father's house and knocked on the front door
Come on.
and said, "Your son has been in my house for the last."
What a crummy thing to do.
I was livid.
Yeah.
Wow. Mama bear.
I usually do. I had words. I couldn't find words for this lady.
Mhm.
The
Didn't lock the door.
brother,
Tried.
the brother of the guy, or the sister of the kid that was killed called me. "What did you do to my father? He thought my brother's been in heaven all these years." Blah, blah. Which you would think. Why wouldn't you think that? That's what I would think.
Mhm.
And luckily, this cop worked a swing shift. God knew what he was doing because I couldn't catch her. And I wasn't about to leave a message. I wanted her to answer the phone.
Mhm.
And when I finally got her, it was probably a good 2.5, 3 weeks later. So I had
Mhm.
really calmed down and I wasn't so crazy. And she says, "Well, I just thought he'd want to know."
Mm.
I said, "If somebody came up to you, if one of your girls was dead, would you want to hear that?"
Mhm.
I said, "I would have expected better from you, truly." I was so shocked. So, and when I do houses, sometimes I look at people and I think, I better say something to them because they're going to do something.
Mhm.
And that's fine. Like I said, I can open up my bottom desk drawer and I have 200 pictures of headstones in there with people's names on them.
Mhm.
I don't know who these people are, but I found them in people's houses and they want me to see them. So,
Mm.
but what am I supposed to do with them? Put them on the wall. A whole wall full of
Recycling.
headstones. There you go.
Recycling.
Yeah, there you go. So, what'd you think about the book?
This was my favorite one so far.
Good. Okay.
I thought it was relatable. I thought it was well organized. It was an easy read. Yeah, I liked it. Yep.
She's a very nice lady. I've talked to her. I've been on her podcast, her and her partner's podcast, and they're very, very, they're very knowledgeable. They have a lot of knowledge. I know this is going to sound a little weird. I liked the first half of the book better than the second half. I almost think that stuff that she was trying to explain in the second half, she gave to God too much.
That didn't bother me at all.
That didn't.
Not at all. What I liked about, I was trying to hurry up and finish it just these last couple of days, so just
Yeah.
fresher in my mind. The dreams of these famous people. The periodic chart came from a dream. Paul McCartney's songs, some of them came from a dream. That's what the idea is for them anyway. Maybe you don't believe that. It's hard to believe that somebody got that scientific from a dream, but that's what.
That's the whole problem. You know, even though I see dead people, I don't believe people see dead people. Okay, it's well, who walks around seeing dead people? You know, it just doesn't happen. And so I'm very skeptical of people that say they could do things. I would have felt better if these dreams she was having about people were people that she knew or were clients. Why would she get dreams about total strangers?
Yeah.
She can't help them. You
That's
try
true.
calling Paul McCartney, you think you're going to get through? Nah, I don't think so.
Well, she was saying that Paul McCartney said that he got the inspiration for the song "Help," I think,
Yeah, it was help.
from a dream.
Right,
Right. But so evidently that's what he
was there.
has said
Right.
in his lifetime at certain times. Or how does she?
Yeah, but tell me this. Don't tell me when you're not worried about something and it's bothering you all day long, that your dreams at night don't reflect what you've been thinking about or worried about
Right.
all day long.
Which was kind of the big point of this book.
Exactly. And I don't understand. No, let's go back to Paul McCartney. He didn't need her to tell him how to write Help. He got it on his own.
I read it that she's just reporting that happened.
Right.
Not
So
that she.
had anything to do with it.
Right.
Yeah.
She's just saying this has happened in people's dreams.
Kind
Right.
of like everybody can get it if they work at it.
Right, like that.
Right, and I have said, and I know Melissa probably falls off the chair every time I say this at an event, I've never had a reading in my life. If I have a problem, I think about it before I fall asleep at night, and I usually get my answer in the morning. You can get your own answers.
Mhm.
Some people are just in a hurry and need to know now. And
Or
sometimes
they
it
don't
takes
feel comfortable
trusting
trusting their
themselves.
dreams.
That's exactly right. That's right.
Or they misinterpret them.
Right. Now, an earthbound spirit cannot affect dreams. They cannot get in your dreams. So the dreams wouldn't have anything like that in it. But if you've got an earthbound spirit in your bedroom while you're sleeping, your dreams are going to be bizarre. They're going to be in technicolor. They're going to be loud. They're going to be scary. You will wake up with your heart pounding but that's if they're in the room with you when you're sleeping. An earthbound spirit can't get into a dream, no matter how hard they try. And she doesn't believe that. She believes earthbound spirits can get in dreams. So, and that's fine. Again, no two people butter toast the same way. So everybody's got their own opinion on stuff, which is fine. I did catch glimpses of stuff in her book that I have read in other books. So she's obviously got a big list here of books that she has read to get to
Yeah.
these answers.
Right.
I'm a little disappointed though, because there's about 2 paragraphs that are definitely from my book. And she didn't give me any credit for that one.
I read this going like, well, this is exactly what Mary Ann says.
Oh, you know where I'm talking?
I totally picked up on that.
Yeah, it's like, whoa.
Well, I thought this must be for real. She's for real because she totally agrees with Mary Ann, and I know you're for real. So
Well, yeah, but I was on their show when I said that, so
Yeah.
there you go.
She didn't give you credit? Because Renee says one thing I thought was different was that Samantha quoted from a lot of other people's books and writing, which I don't usually see in a book.
And Renee's right, but not for me though. That's fine. That's okay. Like I said, I sort of said it the other day to you. There's only so many ways people can see stuff and talk about it. I mean, how many keys are there on the piano, or how many
88.
how many notes are there?
There's like 5 or
like-
6.
1632 something A B D C. How many?
Like C, D, E, F, G, A, B, like 7 on the Sharpson.
Okay, so here what I'm saying is that there's a limited amount of notes.
Rebecca says 12. She's on it.
Oh, and
She
she
does
would know. So there's 12. Okay. Look at thousands and thousands of songs, and they all came up with a different tune with the same amount of
I
notes.
know, that's amazing.
Right. So this doesn't surprise me when somebody knows some other way how to get rid of a ghost. Why not? I mean, if it works, do it. So, and that's what I think. But like I said, I thought for people looking for answers, I think they can find some answers in this book. I really think they can do that. I'm not real big on her astroplaning. I don't know how she does that with a cord sticking out of her head, but reminds me of Shirley MacLaine.
Mm.
She can astroplane, but she has to have a gold cord around her waist, and if the gold cord breaks, then you die.
I've heard that said in a lot of different ways, that the gold cord is attached to your belly button, and that tenders you to your body.
If I'm astroplaning, nobody's going to tell me I'm not getting back in my body, and I've never had a cord around me anywhere.
Right.
So that I don't buy that. And the one in the book, it was hooked to
On
his
her head or
his
something. Third eye.
third eye. Okay, now see, I don't know. It was crazy. You guys know who James Van Praagh is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so oh no, wait, this is going to be on. This is.
Mhm.
I better watch what I'm saying here. No, never mind. Let's talk about something else. So, what's your opinion on the book? I know I'm going to get somebody in trouble for sure if I say something. I just thought about that. Give me a question from them.
No, they're kind of agreeing with what you're saying, though. I think Karen wanted to know where were those paragraphs.
Oh my gosh, do you remember where they were? The
When
first
she's
half of the
talking about
book, I can tell
earthbound
you that.
The first half.
Things that go bump in the night. I would have to really look.
I probably marked it because I was so surprised.
But Karen did say the astroplaning with the silver cord scared the crap out of her.
Yeah, you don't have to do that at all. Now, see, writing. The only thing that concerned me with this book is if you did every little exercise that she wanted you to do before you fell asleep at night, you'd have to go to bed 3 hours early to do everything.
I skimmed over all of
I
those.
I kind of got the impression she was like, start with the first chapter. When you get good at that, then go to the next one, so that you're building steps on top of steps on top of steps.
Okay,
Not you
that
should
makes
do it
more
all at
sense, but
once.
we'll try this and do this. And she even refers in the back of the book to chapters in the front of the book that she
Right.
says to do. So it's like, yeah, okay. Let me see if I mark that. I'll tell you, she has a good knowledge on what different stones are good for.
Mhm.
I'd be curious to know, I bet it's under ghosts. I'd be curious to know, okay, on 60, the dead come calling in our dreams because they need help or guidance from us. they're in the light, they don't need any guidance.
Mhm.
And if they're not in the light, sorry, they're not in your dream.
Here, I have this marked in my book.
Oh, thank you.
On
'cause
page 65 in the margin. I don't know if this is it, but I have like Marianne written on the side of my book. Ghostly, right, the first paragraph in Ghostly Encounters. This is it. It's you,
yeah, no, you're right. That's right.
right under Ghostly Encounters on 65.
Yep.
I have like Marianne right in my
That's, I
margin.
know.
That was you.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I read that. I read it again, and I read it again. And I'm thinking, she's got a very good memory. That or she bought the book and she read it again. One or the other. So, that's fine.
No, nothing else new. Just a lot of hellos and
Oh,
from
okay.
around the country right now. So Joe
Okay.
just joined us, but there's a lot of people who say that this has been their favorite, kind of like what we said in the beginning. It's their favorite book out of the ones that have been done.
Yeah. No, out of all of them, I agree. I think this is the best one that we've had. I really do. Even with the guy that brought all of his own equipment, I still think this was a better book.
That was just
I
an
gotta work
excellent
on that.
presentation, that's all.
I'll work on that. I will. Like I said, I enjoyed the front of the book better than the back of the book, but obviously what she's doing works for her.
Mhm.
And she's got a huge following. And so if she's getting results, if she wasn't getting results, people wouldn't be coming to her. So I think we're good, as far as that goes. So, but like I said, the astroplaning thing, no. The records there, I can never say that.
The Akashic.
Akashic records. I don't think they're that easy to get to and view. I don't know why. I just don't think that you can go into a dream and go to there. Maybe meditation, maybe something like that. Somebody told me they were hypnotized and went there. I'm thinking, I don't think so. I don't know if you know Katie Russell or not, the angel artist.
I know of her.
Okay. She claims she can go there anytime she wants
Really?
and get information. Yeah, no, I don't think she's doing that at all. I really don't. I don't think, I would think that those are so important and so, I'm going to think pretty spiritual and religious on top of it. I just don't think a regular person could go in and look at those. I don't know. That's just my
I
opinion.
think you have to earn the right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
have to be
would,
close to your
or a godlike person, or
You have to have that humbleness and that ethics in order to be able to get to those Akashic records. But you're not
exactly.
going to misuse that.
No,
information.
exactly.
Yeah.
And and the people that I know that said they've been there, I'm thinking, oh my God, what would you do with that information? That wouldn't even be a good thing. So yeah, I think you're right. I don't think that that's just there for anybody that can get there. I don't know.
And you may have to earn it through lifetimes.
That's right, right. And she believes in reincarnation. It was in the book too.
So she believes that you're born into a certain family for
And
a
you
certain
stay with
reason,
them, and I
and you
believe that.
pick that. I was wondering, so our children are adopted. So did we
Any
mess all
difference?
that up?
Doesn't make any difference at all. You were together with your kids in a previous life. Now, you might have been the father or they were the mother and you were the kid, but you always come because it's that circle of people that you've got to be right with before you can go higher once you go in. That's karma. So you got to come back at the same time. And, with one of our girls we were having a hard time with 18, 19, 17. And I'm thinking, what did I do to her in a past life that she's doing this to me? And I'm thinking, oh, I remember.
Boy, that
Yeah,
sounds
it comes
weird.
back. Yeah. I mean, if you think, don't you remember your kids saying to me, how did you know I do that? Because I did that when I was your age. I
Uh-huh.
remembered. So yeah, you just, and that's how you learn things, by redoing things like that. So Anything from them?
Sapphire said in your interview with Sam, she acknowledged reading your book twice. And then Kara says, wonder if you asked for permission for the Akashic Records for your angels for your soul journey. But not a question yet.
I don't think the angel, and I mean, I believe angels can probably go there to the records, but
Again, I think it has to be specific to you and something that's going to help you grow, not something
In
you
this
go,
life. That's right.
Mhm.
You know what? How important is it to know what happened in past lives?
Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't.
Yeah, I can see where if you're making a mistake, the same mistake
Over and over.
over and over and over again, because you're caught in that loop, then I could see those records helping to see, or the past life to say, okay, this is the event. I have to clear it up with this soul to allow me to move on and correct this within this lifetime. That's where I see that as being something that's
Yes,
important.
but if you get regressed and you go to a person that really knows what they're doing,
Mhm.
you can get the answer from that. You don't have to go to the records.
Right. You don't have to.
Yeah, you're making it harder than it has to be.
Well, even if you work with your dreams, you can regress yourself within your dreams. It just seems like you have a very realistic dream.
Right.
But
you
if
can
you,
get information, because I've had
Mhm.
information with, somebody in my own family where I shot them in the back with an arrow in another lifetime. And so we did energy work to clear that out so we wouldn't have to have that karmic tie
Right.
with that anymore.
Right. And like I said, that's fixing your karma, but you don't have to go to the records to get that information. You can do it without going that way. So, like I said, I think the book is really good. And obviously, everything she wrote about here works for her. And that's why would she write something that didn't? So, anything we need from there, Melissa?
No. Though Rebecca wants to know, how can you discover what your soul purpose is?
Her as an example with the work that she does, and it's so fulfilling to her.
Mm-hmm.
If you're good at what you do and you like what you're doing and you're happy in your life, why do you have to look for more? Just can't you be a good person? That's what I don't understand.
how do you
If
know
I'm
you're not already
18, I
doing
want to
it?
know what I'm going to do.
Mhm.
I don't need to know when I'm 75 what I'm going to do.
And how do you
Die.
know that that's not what you came back to do?
Well, yeah. Oh, I know. I'm coming back again with my mother-in-law. No doubt in my mind. But, and I better be the mother-in-law next time.
It could be worse. You could be the mother.
Oh, God. I think not a her. So I don't know. But so, I mean, but I know it, Has anybody here recognized anybody that's living now from a past life? You have.
Yes, my mother was my sister, and my father was my husband
Okay.
in the previous life to this.
Did you do that by somebody telling you this, or regressed, or how did you figure this out?
Literally, I was reading a book that talked about how we went through loops and everything. And again, before I go to sleep, boy, I'd really like to see some clarity around this.
Okay.
If I'm around these people, I'd like to see some clarity around this, because some of the situations are just like.
So you have your
and
answer in the
so
morning.
And it took more than just one night
Sure.
to get it completely, but it was something that repeated night after night, night after night, and within a couple of weeks, it's like,
You got it.
okay, that totally explains this.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, there's been one person that I recognize, and I would say, what happened to you? I would keep thinking, what happened to you? Because I knew them differently from another lifetime.
Mhm.
and they're not the same in this lifetime.
Right,
And I'm thinking, what the hell happened to you? You
right,
know?
right.
Because you're not
The same person.
same person that we
Right.
had that close connection and that bond with.
Right, right.
And so the person is, I don't know, seems regressed compared to how I knew them in another lifetime. And I knew that lifetime to be like almost oriental in nature as well. And I don't know why, but I just
Yeah,
knew
but you
that.
have to put this into the mix. What are they learning from this life?
Right. Right.
You're not the only one here for that reason. I have 3 younger sisters. I have 2 girls. The sister under me has a set of twin girls. The sister under her has a girl. My youngest sister couldn't have kids, so she adopted. And her first one, believe it or not, was a girl. So there were 4 of us girls and 5 granddaughters. And Amber, my oldest one, was born. Diane was pregnant with the twins. And Betty Ann had just gotten engaged. My youngest sister was only 9. So I watched Diane's girls. If I could see a grandparent, our father was dead. I watched when my sister Betty had her daughter. And that sister and brother-in-law travel a lot, so that kid was always with us. And so I never saw anybody I knew in that kid. So we go to my youngest sister's house for my niece's 3rd birthday. I never paid any attention to her because she was adopted. Yeah, wrong. And so at the time we had a foster baby with us, and we just had her with us, and we took her with us. And the 2 little kids were playing. And my niece walks out the patio door, and she took her hand and she slammed the screen shut on the patio door. She had a Barney watch on. My father was a very small man, and he wore a Timex watch with the elastic band.
Mhm.
Every time the head or the face of the watch got on the inside, he never looked at his wrist. He just hit it, and the face popped back up. Angela walked out that door, shut the door, hit her wrist, and the face popped back up. No. And I'm thinking, no, don't even do that. I just ignored it. Because my sister, the youngest one, was so young, all of our kids were grown when Angela was 3. I mean, we just showered that kid with everything. On the patio, somebody had bought her wooden table and chairs, the little kid side, and it was just packed with toys, with gifts for her. She walked over to that table, put her hands behind her back like this, never touched a gift, just went with her face, just like the packages of meat and picked the one he wanted. What 3-year-old doesn't touch anything like that? I'm thinking, holy crap, that's my father. Now I'm mad. I had a baby after my father was dead. Why didn't he come back to me? What was the problem with that? I didn't understand that. 9, now the kid's 9. And no, she was 4. Right after her 3rd birthday, 3.5. I stopped, we were living in Worcester. I stopped at my sister's house. She lived in Royalton. And my mother was there. And Angela, surprisingly, being an only child and the first one, she wasn't a real good talker. Usually your first child, especially girls, talk real fast, not her. So, okay. So she comes out of her bedroom. Mom and my sister and me are sitting at the table, and she comes over and she goes, Mom. The first thing my mother goes is, stop it, Angela. Take your time. She was stuttering. And I'm going, Mom, keep your mouth shut. It's not your kid. Don't say anything. My mother didn't have that part in her vocabulary. And so Cher goes, I'm trying. And my mother looks at my sister and me and she says, you know, your father stuttered till he was 6.
Oh.
None of us knew that.
Mhm.
Thinking, oh my God. Okay, so now she's 9. I'm at my sister's house. They had moved. She's upstairs in her bedroom. And I hear a harmonica playing a tune. Now, by this point, my sister had adopted a little boy, so we finally got a boy in the family. Okay. And I said to my sister, I said, who's playing a harmonica? She goes, Angela. I said, why is she playing the harmonica? She goes, I don't know. She says, we were at the store the other day and she saw him as we were cashing out. And she says, Mom, can I have this? And I said, yeah, go ahead. She says, and I can't believe, she says, she can actually play songs on it. And I said, Sherry, Dad played a harmonica. She said, no, he played the accordion. I said, yeah, I got the accordion. I know he played the accordion. I said, but he played a harmonica too. Nobody's going to tell me that that is not my father. I know that's my father. And I figured it out. Cher was only 9 when he died. He missed most of her life. So why wouldn't he come back and be her kid?
Mhm.
And it wasn't blood, that's for sure. So that's why I know it doesn't make any difference.
Mhm.
And I think when you see something like this, or you can place it, even with your kids, just see if they don't remind you of somebody else, a relative.
Or even our granddaughter now.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah. Because she could be, I mean, you know, I don't know your family situations, but a grandma, a grandpa. I mean, Angela's a girl, obviously, and my father was a guy, but you don't always come back in the same sex.
Mhm.
So
Have to kind of tune into that, because I think you just live your life and don't think so much that it
That's right.
reminds you of a certain person, unless it's pretty blatant.
right, yeah, like you look at somebody and you go, "Oh my God, Uncle George used to do that," and you just, it's just similar. So it brought to your attention. But if you really start watching somebody,
Mhm.
a customer, her daughter just had a little boy, and her mother-in-law used to laugh at her. She used to tell her son and her daughter-in-law that when your father was a little baby, he didn't crawl on his knees. He crawled with his hands and his feet and his butt up in the air. Son of a gun. Grandpa was dead, and that's when that little boy started crawling just like his grandfather did. So you have to pay attention. I think that's the whole thing, is just to pay attention to it. So,
Yeah.
Anybody need anything from there?
Uh,
Oh boy.
Not really. Jennifer says, my children and I have had past lives, but my parents and brother did not. No, I think they're just mainly listening.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, we'll have
So-
people on tomorrow morning complaining about something.
but Dylan says, my 5-year-old tells me she's an angel who saved me when I almost died in an accident when I was 17, so that I could be her daddy.
Now, see, I think there's something to that too, especially with kids, because so many kids know so many things about, how do you know how a plane works when you're 5 years
Yeah.
old? There was a book, we did that at the book club, the other book club. That little
That
boy.
little boy.
Yeah. I remember that. And that he had to be. But she also says in here that by the time you're 7 or 8 or 9, you start forgetting that.
Mhm.
It's like when you choose to come back, you know exactly how long you're going to live, but you don't remember that. Because how could you live your whole life going, well, when I'm 28, I'm going to get hit by a bus and die? You couldn't live.
Right.
You could, you'd put yourself in a locked room and be nowhere around buses if you thought you were going to be killed by a bus until it comes through the window.
Melanie says she promises she won't complain in the morning about the book club tonight.
Who said this?
Melanie. And Karen says she won't complain either.
Thank you. I appreciate it, girls. Melissa, just don't show me those questions.
That's right. That's right. I'll just keep them in the back.
Skip over those questions. Okay.
I'll keep them off screen.
Good idea. Good idea. So what else about the book? Anything? Was everybody, did you find it okay?
I didn't read all of it,
Okay.
and I skipped around.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's just so much. Like you'd have to go to bed 3 hours early, and so I thought, well, maybe just take it in bits, like you said, start at the beginning, and or maybe you did,
Yeah.
and work your way through. But I just don't remember dreams.
Did you try the mugwort?
Oh yeah, I've got.
And it didn't help at all?
Dream bag under, no, and I just never remember.
Well,
things,
she has a
and-
lot of suggestions in here how to remember a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, set the clock at 3 o'clock and get up and then write down what you're thinking about. No, that's not going to happen.
I know that the hypnagogic state is when you're falling asleep, like that, and then there's a
The REM
time
at the end.
at the
2
end,
hours
well,
at the end. Right.
and I will like just last night I had a dream and I woke and it's like, okay, I'm gonna, because I just can't, I can't, and this happens on the rare occasion when I do wake up and remember a dream, whether it's in the morning or, the middle of the night. I can't move my body. I can't move my limbs to write it down or record it on my phone, or
You just don't do it.
I just can't seem to move to do that.
Huh?
So
And I'm not saying you, but there are actually some meds too that people take on a daily basis that retard your dreams. You cannot remember your dreams. I know that people that take diabetics have a problem, high blood pressure, and heart patients. I don't know what they take, which pill they take, but one of those has a hard time. Plus, people that take sleeping aids do not remember their dreams at all. I don't know if it knocks them out, if it kills whatever it is that's keeping you awake. I don't know what it does, but I know it doesn't work. So
Christine says, or asks, if you have a relative that you think reincarnated as another family member, do you think that could be the reason why you wouldn't dream about that relative?
there's always a piece of the person that is reincarnated that stays in the white light. So you will still dream. I still dream of my father, even though he's now 32, Ted? He's probably sleeping.
No. He should figure it out.
I'm wide awake.
Okay, how old is she? 32 now?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. So
Does she still remind you of your father, or has that, because her memory of that internally has gone away? so
yeah,
she's-
no, she's definitely her own self now. I don't see anything. I mean, she looks nothing like him. My father was 5'10", she's 6'1". Nothing,
Mhm.
nothing. She's a tall
Yeah,
girl.
that's tall.
Yeah, she is huge, tall, really pretty. Legs that won't quit. Blue-eyed blonde, really pretty. And my brother-in-law is 6'6". Don't tell me how in the world they ever, and they are the very first people the Catholic Charities ever did an open adoption with.
Oh.
So they knew, they were there the day Angela was born. So she was in the delivery room. And but And it's crazy because the second one, a little boy, he's as dark and as Italian looking as my sister.
Mhm.
And she's as Polish as my brother-in-law. It's
Mhm.
crazy,
Mhm.
you know. But your daughter looks like you.
Mhm. And our son
Mhm.
too. They both are dark.
Yeah, and
dark
so
hair.
does your granddaughter.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she's she's such a cutie. She getting excited for Christmas? Not yet.
We haven't talked about it yet in our family too much. So, and we haven't put out anything yet, so she's not. She will be excited. I
She's
think.
seeing decorations at the store yesterday.
Yes.
I was with her and she was all excited. Santa Claus, you know. She's
Oh,
real
here we
into it.
go. Right.
Start-
She's just turned 3, so this will
It's
be
a
a fun
good
one.
age for it.
Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
be really fun.
Find the elf. Hide the
That
elf.
scared our kids when we did that. When they woke up and the elf had moved in the middle of the night, they were terrified that
You're
that
kidding.
elf moved.
Well,
I'm not gonna do
luckily
that to
they
our
didn't have
granddaughters.
that when my girls were little because I don't know what it would have done to them. It was bad enough at Easter when I took powder on the carpet and made paw
Bunny tracks.
prints from the Easter bunny to the Easter basket. They walked around them like, oh my God, it was in the house. You know?
That elf moved, and that just scared the death out of them. How that elf moved in the middle of the night. That elf came to life and moved.
So you killed the elf, huh?
So, yeah, we're not going to do the elf. Yeah.
I don't know, that elf, it's like dolls and clowns to me.
Yeah. Oh, so many kids are afraid of clowns. Oh my
Good
God.
dolls. I mean, dolls can be
Some
Dolls are
dolls are
creepy.
really creepy.
creepy.
Yeah, they really are.
I
So,
don't know.
anything else?
Everybody's how's Ted doing? Is he doing better?
Ted's doing better. We're
Um,
going to find out on the 12th of December exactly what this last test showed. We hope, anyway. Unless they go, well, maybe you should go see. Used to hearing.
And Rebecca said, I wrote a song in my sleep last night and thought, yeah, I don't need to get up and write that down. Well, I should have gotten up and written it down.
Tell her, thank her for those that information on the toes.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, she heard you.
Oh, that's right.
Let's see, what else do we have? Christine says, my grandmother passed away, and a year later, my cousin was born. I cannot recall dreaming of my grandmother. I believe she reincarnated as my cousin.
Well, but remember, even though you're reincarnated, you will still be there to come into people's dreams. So, and that wouldn't be a bad thing to ask somebody if you actually remember your dreams. The next time you talk to somebody that you know, say, who are you now?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they know.
And
Interesting.
I don't know.
Renee was wondering if anybody uses a mantra before going to bed. before
I
sleeping.
think some people, and when she says meditate before you fall asleep. If I start to meditate when I go to bed at night, I fall asleep. I can't not do that when I sleep. I have to set around a certain time if I'm going to do something like that because no. If you slow down that long, you fall asleep. So sometimes.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
I do better meditation like walking or like other physical activity.
See, I taught myself a long time ago how to zone out.
Hmm.
And I think that's my way of almost putting myself someplace else by zoning out. And I can do it in a plane. I can do it driving. Well, not while I'm driving, but I can do it, when Ted's driving. I don't have to, that's easier for me to do it that way than to actually sit down and put in some Yanni music and listen to it and burn incense. It's like, I don't have time for all that. So that's not happening.
We'll wake up sometimes and many days and say, did you dream? Yes. Did you dream? Yes. What did you dream? He'll tell me his dream. I'll tell him
Similar.
my dream. But there's nothing that we can relate to.
Your
A
life.
lot of them are anxiety dreams, like you can't find your classroom. I didn't study for the test.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of those kinds of dreams, but it's not really anything like that. I feel like it's so much loved ones. I did dream about my dad the other night. what was he looking for? He wanted to go buy a walk-up recliner.
That's right, yeah.
What is a walk-up recliner? In my dream, I made that up.
I know what that is.
You do?
I do.
One of those electric recliners?
Yep. So that when it's up, so that when you're on it and you put it up as high as it goes, you are standing up.
He called
It's
it a walk-up recliner.
It's a walk-up recliner. That's exactly
never
what old
heard it.
people call that, a
I've
walk-up
never heard
recliner.
of that before.
Yep, that's exactly.
Really?
And there's only one company that has one of those that it'll push you up as high so you don't have to try to stand up on your own.
I know of those recliners because my parents never had them, but he called it a walk-up recliner.
That's exactly the ones
Wow.
now. Yeah, for people that are that.
It must be in something. I don't know.
Yeah,
like-
because it can go flat as a bed, and then you don't have to try to roll out and sit up and stand up. You just put a button. It just.
Well, I don't know what the meaning of that would be. My dad looked fine and.
Oh,
we were
he should look
shopping.
healthy and happy
We were
and
shopping
younger.
for walk-up recliners.
Yeah.
But-
Well, maybe he knows somebody that needs one. Do you know somebody that's having a problem?
His godfather's 94 and I help him once a week and he's having more of an issue. Yeah, getting up.
Now, just out of curiosity, would that kind of a recliner help him?
Actually, I was with him when he bought his last recliner about a year ago and he didn't want one of those power recliners at all.
Oh, he didn't.
No, he did not. We got a recliner.
Yeah, but not a.
yeah.
We have power recliners. They're really
Mhm.
cool. Unless it's all the way back and the electric goes out.
a.
And you have to go to the bathroom and it doesn't work. Let me tell you.
It should come with a warning.
Oh, honest to God, you can't jump out of it.
No,
There's no way. I can't jump out of it. There's no way.
no, I was just, it wasn't an electric one. We were at our daughter's and, I did it push back and then there's the lever for I couldn't get out.
No, I know it. It's terrible.
I couldn't do it. So two people had to come
Come
and
get-
one did the lever and one pushed the.
Luckily,
I
the
need a
electric
walk-up recliner.
Yeah, his recliner is electric, but it's not one of those.
that goes all the way up.
Tilts you.
Okay.
That's what he had no interest in. Oh yeah, his is electric.
Oh,
Those-
okay,
those
yeah.
levers are difficult.
Thank you.
And you know how it's funny if you've got a pet, how you sit there and you watch your pets when they do stupid stuff. This cat sat there and watched me try to get out of there.
Payback.
I could see the look on the one's face going, go ahead and remind me what I do next time. Yeah, right. It didn't last long. The lecture was only out about 5 minutes. I'm thinking, oh my God.
Jennifer
So-
says, I have a walk-up recliner. It was my mother's. And yes, getting stuck in a blackout is a trip.
Oh, yeah, it certainly is. So she knows what a walk up is. So,
Mhm.
yeah, that's good. They're just so expensive. They're really expensive.
Mhm.
So, how are we on time?
It is 10 till.
Okay, so any other questions?
I have one not related to the book.
Sure.
So if there's an earthbound spirit that we knew or I knew in this life, and they knew me, but they did not know where I lived. When
Not
they're
a problem.
earthbound, can they say, okay, I want to go to her house and they can go there even though they didn't know where I lived while they were alive?
Correct.
They
They
know
can.
when they're dead.
Especially people they knew. Like if you were dead and earthbound and you said, oh, I want to go meet Dolly Parton. If you didn't know where she lived, you wouldn't be able to find her.
Oh,
But if Dolly Parton was a relative, you could, or a friend.
even if you,
Didn't know.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
See, the only problem with that, and it's a problem. It's like, people will call me up when somebody dies and they'll go, well, I have the seeds up so they can't come in.
Right.
Well, that's not true. Until they lose their white light, they can come in. They're
Right,
not
right.
officially stuck.
Right.
They still have their white light. And there's a house, I just talked to somebody the other day. Her mother-in-law is definitely in her house and her seeds are up.
She lost her white light in the house then.
And she did it on purpose.
Oh. Wow. No, but she must not have known she couldn't get back out.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
she did.
She
Yeah.
did.
Because her house was seated too. Yeah, I've known this family for a while. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah,
So what do you do with her?
I got to come back out and kick her out.
Now, since you won't force them into the light, how are you going to get rid of her?
Well, it's going to be if I keep walking close enough to her with the seed.
She's going to have to keep backing up.
That, or I'll get my hands on a smudge stick and just keep smudging her toward a door.
Take the seat off the door. and
Oh,
kick her out,
yeah,
put it back up.
right. Exactly.
Because I just picture sidestepping and moving like.
Oh, sure. They could do it.
Mhm.
That guy that drove in all the way from during COVID, he came in from
Oh, was that the guy from New York?
no.
St.
Where did
Louis?
that guy come in from, Ted? From out west somewhere, Wyoming,
Montana?
Wyoming. He came in during COVID. I said, "Oh man, I don't think I'm." He says, I says, "I don't even think you can find a hotel." And two of the ghosts came with him, but I knew the one wasn't going to come. And he had pictures of his house. Well, I could see it when I was on the phone with him. $bazillion house with all the ceilings up to the sky with skylines and all this. It was terrible trapping that ghost in his house. He was getting huge ladders to put seeds like on steps so that they couldn't go back up the steps, so they had to stay on the first floor. Then we had to corner off different rooms in the house where they could only go in this room and this room for a couple of days. Then we had to figure out how to corner off that room so they could only go into one room. That was about a 3-week process trying to get rid of that ghost over the phone like that. It was hard. It was really hard. But they drove all the way in from wherever they were at. You know, like I said, the two came with them. They got a hotel room down in Independence, and he said, "We got a room." How did he put it? He says, "We're here, and the room is pretty big. Do you want that room?" I went, "No. We have to sit someplace where there's a big table, and you're on one end and I'm on the other." I mean, it was COVID. I didn't know
Yeah.
what to do.
But
And-
his house was in Montana.
Yeah, and they drove in.
The ghost, because the ghost came with him.
There were 3 of them.
So,
2 came.
so you sent those on their way, but what about the house in Montana, the one?
That's what we kept doing. He went back home, and I kept talking to him every few days.
Oh,
You know,
Yeah.
he didn't have a ladder big enough to go 40 feet up, and so he had to find a ladder big enough to get a seat up on that part of the ceiling, which wasn't really going to work because it only works for 3.5 or 4 feet. So here I am trying to figure out, how do you get a seat to hang in the middle of air someplace?
yeah.
I mean, he said, "Do you think fishing line would work?" I went, "Try it." I don't know. I'm not an engineer. I don't even know how you would try to do something like that. But somehow we got it out, and it wasn't having any fun when it couldn't go in all 15 rooms. Smart ass. So, but at any rate, it was interesting. Anything else about the book?
Well, I was just wondering if anybody would be willing to share how do you all just naturally have always remembered your dreams? And the lucid dreaming, I mean, I can't even.
I don't think that's as common for people as she thinks it is. Yeah, I don't think that's that common. I think
So-
people sit there and dream like they're watching TV. They're watching what's happening in their dream. They're not interacting with people in their dream. They're just watching. And if you're lucky enough to talk, like you said, you dreamt of your father. Look for them around their birthdays, holidays, your birthday, the day they died. Because those are days that they're probably, and with the holidays coming up now, with Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up, they always show up for the holidays, especially when there's little ones. They always show up for that. Has anybody here ever astroplaned? You have?
Yeah, just about 400 feet from where I was.
Okay.
So, but I was over at Halloran Park by the tree, and it
Oh, where
was,
Beverly Potts got killed.
yeah.
Mhm.
And I was sitting there kind of just leaning against the tree, trying to just deep breathe. And then I kept hearing the kids over in the ice rink, all the way at the other end. And what on earth are those children doing? This?
Right there.
Oh, that's what they're doing.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it was interesting. It
You-
wasn't
yeah.
scary. It just,
No, it's not scary at all. You can
Yeah.
teach yourself to do it.
and then, watched them for a few minutes, walked around a little bit.
You know who's really good at doing that in the beginning, and they can usually do it then the whole time? Children that are physically or mentally abused. If they're physically or mentally abused, to see somebody coming at them with a belt or a wooden spoon or something, they will just zone out and they'll get out of their body. They're watching themselves get a beating. But kids can do it really, really easy. I was surprised when I figured that out, how easy they could do it. And I was probably 10 when I astroplaned into the living room and my mother was wrapping the Christmas gifts. And I can assure you I will never do that again, because I was so disappointed when I saw everything, and it was like, I saw this, I know all this, and I wanted a typewriter, and she got me a record player, and I was mad about it. but there were the three of us older ones, so the record player was for all of us,
Right.
you know. So.
So when you astroplan, your physical body's still sitting back by the tree.
Yeah, it was,
like
I even looked
looking
back
like you're
at it and I was sitting
sleeping?
like this.
Okay.
My eyes were kind of closed, and I was like way over there.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I wonder what this is called. Because I think I was, I don't know, maybe 14 or 15, and hadn't really started doing a lot at that point as far as this kind of stuff. But it was interesting.
And then there's people like Ted, that when he astroplanes,
He can go to other
he goes to other planets. He
Yeah.
doesn't stay on Earth. He goes around all over. So, and he's tired the next day.
Well, gee, I wonder.
So is it the same as bilocating, or is that going like Padre Pio, going from one place to another?
No, I guess it's similar. It would be in the same category, but it's not quite the same. Okay. There are some people that can astroplane at will, and then there are some others that it just happens to them.
Oh.
People that have serious operations or accidents, it's not uncommon for people to be above themselves, watching themselves in an emergency room, where
That-
doctors are trying to help them, or a surgical room, something like that. That's a pretty common story.
That happened to my mom, but I just always thought those were near-death experiences. Like those people physically die because my mom heard the doctor say, we lost her. And she looked down like, wow, that poor soul, looks like she's been really suffering. And then, oh, that's me. She heard the doctor say, we lost her, but then got the message, not your time yet.
That's right. And it's
Mhm.
not. And most people that have that don't want to come back, because that white light there's no word to describe how wonderful it is.
Mhm.
And you don't really want to come back. But if it's not your time, you're not coming back. That's for sure. I don't know. There was somebody on Zoom, the last Zoom, that has never happened to me before. That shocked me so bad. This girl was calling from California. I think that's where she was from. And she could do what I do. And she has a crowd of these people around her all the time. And she has my Quincy charm on, and it's not helping. First of all, earthbounds don't come in crowds. They come in twos or threes, but they can, but they don't really come in crowds unless you're in a mall or an auditorium or something, okay? People that cross over come in groups, though.
Mhm.
And your spirit guides are in groups.
And the seats aren't going to stop those.
No. And I said, no. I says, I don't think so. I think you're seeing people that crossed over. She goes, no, because I started seeing all these really good once I got the seed. And I says, because they're keeping the earthbounds away from you so the ones that crossed over can get close to you.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, I bet that works. But then that kid from the dispensary, could be anything, he kept saying, I told him about this woman that keeps checking on him. I says, it's your grandmother. He said, okay. And I says, Patty was her name. And he says, yeah, that's my grandmother, but my grandmother's alive. I said, really? And the ghost that was there kept saying, no, it's his grandmother. And I kept getting shout. And I'm thinking, is she shouting at him? What is she doing? And then I said something to him and I said, she's shouting at you. He goes, no, her last name is Shrout. So it really was his grandmother, but she's alive. She's astroplaning to him.
Wow.
She's worried about him. That's never happened
But
to
you
me.
could see that.
No,
Oh.
the ghost was telling me about it.
The ghost could see it.
Right, and I don't know. I wonder if I could see somebody when they astroplane. No, I don't think so.
Have Ted do it. Look
Huh?
for him. Have Ted do it and look for him. Play hide and seek. Ted, you got one job this weekend. One job this weekend.
Yeah, right. I don't know, but anyway, that's never happened before where a person is astroplaned to check on somebody. But why not?
Well,
Really
what about when
interesting.
someone, and again, this is something that happened probably 40 years ago. My mother was in a car accident. I was sound asleep. She was in a car accident. I heard her clear as day. Debbie, I need you to come get me. And I woke up going, Mom, are you, got up, looked all over the house. She wasn't there. Go back to bed. About 15 minutes later, phone rang. Hospital let me know she was in an accident. She's okay, but she shook up and someone needs to get her.
Yeah.
You're more open when you're asleep and they're in an accident. That adrenaline, I think, just literally allows them to go past all the barriers to where
You
they
need
can
to
send a
be.
message.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's right. I think people have such tight bonds with other people that nothing's going to stop it. It's going to just continue. That's right. And I think that's why so many guys wait for their wives to die and just going to cross over with them. They still think the little lady can't take care of herself, so she better stick around.
No, they're waiting for him to come and, they're afraid they're gonna have to do their own laundry.
That's
or-
right. And that's
That
why
makes
a
more sense to
woman
me.
never waits for a man. She is out of here.
Later.
Okay, I think we're done for the night. I don't think we're not having anything next month. We'll see what kind of response we get. I don't know if we're going to keep this up or not. I just,
What do you think the difference is?
Strongsville people just think that this is too far away. I think that's it. Which is crazy. You know,
It's
it takes
not
us
that far.
25 minutes to get here. It's not that far.
Well, this is the first time we've had over 20, let alone up to 33 right now online.
And maybe this is the.
So if we
This is
continued
fine.
maybe
Don't get
only
me wrong.
online,
Yeah,
kind of like
this
what
is
we do.
fine. But I think you get more out of it when you can interact with live people than looking at a computer screen. No, nothing. I'm glad you're here. Don't get me wrong, but it's fun to see somebody. I don't see your reactions when I give you an answer.
Mhm.
You know, if I say something that somebody doesn't agree with here, I can just sort of say, and I know you don't really agree. I can't see that on there.
Yeah.
And it's hard to carry a conversation with somebody when it's one-sided like that. So it's fine on Zoom because you're the only person I'm looking at in that little box, you know, but this is hard when it's, and we can think about doing it online only. If we get
Mm-hmm.
enough people that want to chance that.
And I know somebody's going to mention it. Yes, it could be on Zoom with faces, but then the problem gets to be when everybody tries to talk over one another.
No. It would have to be
So-
done this way. I just use Zoom as an example that when I'm on one-on-one with them, I can see reactions and,
Mhm.
you know, they'll look at me like, are you crazy, lady? That's not me. So, but this isn't quite the same. Complaining that we're not going to do this anymore?
No, just a lot of people who, some of our Wednesday regulars who live out of state.
Oh,
We're like,
okay.
I wish I lived closer. Type
And
thing.
yeah.
This is all.
I don't know what to try. I mean, everybody said they wanted this again, and I don't know what to do. Well, let's let it go till the holidays are over and put it back in. Maybe start it in January, February again. But then the weather's bad, and you don't know if we
You
should
might
come
wanna
out or
wait
not.
till March.
Yeah, maybe even April, just
Maybe
for
even
summer,
April.
maybe April, May, June, maybe.
I would say April.
Yeah, maybe that would be better.
Yeah. And it would be fun to, over the next couple of months, have everybody send in possible books and everything.
But that's a good idea.
Hmm.
Because Renee is the one that suggested this one.
Yeah.
And I tried leaving this lady messages because I was really hoping that if nothing else, that she would be on a phone call with us or stream with us or something, but I never got a response. So
Maybe she didn't want to fess up to stealing 2 paragraphs.
like I said, she used them. I'm not even gonna say steal.
Yeah.
She just used them, which is fine.
Yeah, she just
So-
didn't have credit.
So everybody got big plans for Thanksgiving?
Cooking.
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 I don't have to cook. My sister has that. I got one sister that does one and one sister that does another one, so that's good. That takes stuff, but we don't have to do the cooking, so that's good.
See, I only cook twice a year, Christmas and Thanksgiving.
You only cook twice a year.
That's it. I don't cook other than that. My husband does.
Oh, your husband cooks? Oh, well, good for you.
Yeah, I told him. He asked me one time why I married him. I said,
Yeah, but
Sit
Chris,
down.
I bet you're a good cook though, too, being a fireman, right?
At work, I cook all the time.
He's been too busy to cook since he retired. He did cook the other night, though. Last night he cooked because I suggested something to bake for dinner, and he didn't like my idea. I was going to cook. So he's like, "How about I make?" Okay, now I know the trick.
Oh, there you go. You let it out. Too bad
All I have
now,
to do is
right?
suggest something he doesn't care for, and he'll pick up the ball and make something he likes.
That's why it's called a couple. You decide between you. Your husband cooks?
yeah, he loves it. That's his therapy.
Oh,
And you know, he needs his therapy because he's a therapist. So I mean, he deals with people all the time. So he needs something to unwind and de-stress. He'll go in and play and literally play.
well, your boyfriend likes to cook too.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I think I can tell you the last time that I've really cooked, but like tonight when I go home, I might make a sandwich because I've just gotten to the point
That's
where I
not
don't need a
cooking.
whole lot. But at
That's
his house, you know,
And you don't even use a
he's-
plate. You eat over the sink.
Pretty
Yeah.
much, yeah. But no, Scott does. He's always, and he likes doing it. So, and I think I've helped him once, and he was just kind of standing there antsy, kind of like, just get out of the way. And I'm like, okay, babe, have at it.
When he pulls the line, get out of my kitchen. I have knives. Get out of the kitchen.
He hasn't said that. It's more of like dinner will be ready, and if it's getting close to that time and I haven't arrived yet, he's like, it's on the stovetop, so it's be here. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, when Ted cooks, and he cooks a lot. When he cooks, he'll go, be ready in 7 minutes. Please, 7 minutes.
How
Right.
do they know?
I don't know. The timer's going to go off in 7 minutes, so that must mean the food's going to be ready. I
Right.
don't know.
But it's always on and ready, and it's always
And he
good.
cooks good. I mean,
Yeah.
so
I
the
can't
kids like
complain.
some of his food better than mine, so that's good.
You know, my mom taught me to make lasagna. It's the same exact lasagna. My kid will swear that grandma's is better.
She's got.
It's her
extra love for
energy
her.
And I'm
is in
like,
it.
you know what? We're gonna have identical pans. We're both gonna, but I'm gonna switch them and watch that little shit still say grandma's is better. And I'm like, it's the same freaking thing. But yeah,
Yeah, but I taught Tara how to make eggplant parmesan, and hers is better than mine. I like hers way better than my own. So it's people do things different.
well, see, like I only ever use Prego sauce. Mom will use whatever was on sale, and sometimes she'll get ragu, and I'm like, this is water.
You can tell there's no Italian in that lady's blood.
Hey, I'll take Prego. Yeah.
That's swearing to me.
Because we
As
are
a
not
matter of
making
fact,
homemade
I found
sauce.
the best thing to make spaghetti sauce in.
Hmm.
I have these huge pots that I make spaghetti sauce in.
Mhm.
Years ago, I boiled the tomatoes down and make it, can it, and everything. So, do you remember the roasters
Mhm.
that you could put a whole turkey in?
Mhm.
I have one.
Yeah.
I started making spaghetti sauce in there.
Really?
Oh my God, it's so good. And you can cook for hours, and it can go up to 400 and go down to 200 and just simmer all day long. The house smells so good. No.
So we're coming to your house for spaghetti. Got it.
Anytime, I love making spaghetti. Yeah.
Rin will eat you out of all of your spaghetti. That's like one
The
of
only
few
thing I
things.
don't like, and I'll make it, but I won't eat it, is nookies. I don't like nookies.
Is what?
Nookies, the potato little dumplings. Right here.
Oh, okay.
I used to help my grandmother make those by the hundreds. I hated making those things. Roll them with your finger, your thumb, roll them. I hated it. And I don't know, they just, there's never enough sauce on them. They just stick in your throat. So
All right. Well, we'll
you,
just come
you
for
don't make
spaghetti.
you don't make your lasagna with cottage cheese, do you?
No,
Thank God. 'Cause
no,
I'd push
that's
you off your chair if you use cottage cheese.
that's the devil's food right there. Cottage cheese or blue cheese.
Ugh.
No blue cheese.
Oh, I don't like blue cheese at all.
Me-
No.
Chris makes really good spaghetti sauce and meatballs. Got it from his mom, maybe. or
Oh, it's
dad.
got to be a family recipe if it's really good.
I don't know where it came from. It's
I
I
think it
got
was
it.
your
I think I got it
sister.
from my sister,
Yeah, your sister.
and she got it from my mom.
Two
I'm sure,
kinds
you
of
know.
meat in the meatballs?
You start with pork neck bones. For the meatballs, yeah, two kinds of meat,
In the
sausage
meatballs.
and
In the meatballs.
in the meatballs, yeah,
Pork and beef.
pork and beef.
And the neck
veal.
bones are what makes my spaghetti sauce.
The sauce. That's always the trick for the sauce.
That's what makes the sauce.
Where do you find your neck bones?
Johnny
They
Eagle.
have 'em. Johnny Eagle, yeah.
Really?
In the
They're
usually in
usually
the frozen department.
Yeah.
though.
Little package of frozen.
Yeah.
Used to
You
be
know what
real
else
cheap, but
works
they
too
found
is
out-
pork hocks.
I've heard that. Yeah,
They're
I
so
haven't used
good.
them. Yeah.
But the sauce is really sweet when you use those.
What do you put in your meatballs to make them tender?
Maybe this
Cheese
should be
or
My sister.
Yeah,
we're
food
sharing
gallery.
recipes for
discussion.
meatballs, and she puts ricotta cheese because I said I
In her
actually
meatballs.
put sauce in the meat to make it lighter. And
Yeah,
she says,
yeah.
She's like, it's a good idea. She says, I use ricotta cheese. So I've been doing it with ricotta,
they're really good.
and it softens it. It makes it more tender, and it's delicious. It's very good. Throw a little ricotta in your next time you
I'll
make
try
meatballs.
that. Interesting.
Or
Let's
sauce.
see if Scott
Either
like
or.
try that. Because with his keto, you can do all the.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
just got to be
yeah.
careful with keto. You give yourself heart disease with it. Everybody's like, I can eat a pound of bacon. You can, but you shouldn't. And I'm obeying my diet. So a lot of people go overboard with meat and cheese, because it's all 0 calories or 0 points on the keto.
Oh, well, everybody, I'll tell you real quick. I don't know if anybody has gotten the cookbook or not, but there's one of the recipes in there. Do you guys still stuff your turkeys, or do you make the stuffing in a pan
On the side.
on the side?
I
Okay.
don't cook turkey.
You don't cook
We're
turkeys?
going to his brother's house.
Yeah, and he'll do it. He'll stuff it, but that's usually not enough.
Not enough. You
So
still
you
make it on
stuff
the
it, and then you
side.
got it on the side as well.
Okay. I found this out, and I'm surprised. I put eggs in my stuffing. There's a lot of people that don't put eggs in their stuffing, which surprised me.
Oh.
Okay.
Crumbly though, isn't it?
Yeah. So here's a trick I found from a ghost. And is it good? when you're making your stuffing, make everything, mix it all together, but don't put the eggs in. Okay? Or separate the eggs. Put the egg yolks in, but
And
not
then
the whites.
later.
Okay? Mix it all up like you would mix it up. Beat your egg whites till you fluff them up. Fold them into the stuffing and then cook it. Oh my God, the difference that makes is amazing. You would never think that. And I don't know what, I'm not a chemist. I don't know why fluffing the eggs up and the whites up first and putting them in would make a difference, but it does make a different taste. It's good. Okay, we're out of here. I gotta go back. Are we done? Good
Sure.
night, everybody. Have a nice Thanksgiving. And thank you for coming. See?
So now will you tell